Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to USA Prepares. We're delighted you're with us in class today, and we're broadcasting 2 hours of class from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. We're live 9 a.m. Central through 11 a.m. Central. If you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. If you'd like to listen while you're traveling or at home, 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. Justin is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. I'm Vincent Finelli. Captain John Regan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
Hey. Class, John and I were on the phone just as the broadcast was starting. And it was, we better go on the air. We had 10 seconds. And so John connected and I connected. And here we are. And, hey, John, I was able to sell some cows. And I want to share the prices just very quickly. We were told that our cows brought the highest amount of the sale that day. They were they were 400 and 500 pound cows. Well, the highest, the highest weight was 619 pounds. So these were at the best weight to sell cows. And they were weaned, so they bring more money if they're weaned. And we were told that ours brought the highest prices for that day. $1.30 per pound on the low, $1.90 per pound on the high. This is at auction. So if you're looking at cattle prices and if you're looking at what meat costs in the store, I'm telling you exactly what we got. $1.30 on the low. You know, we brought a trailer load of cows. We get paid once a year. If we're lucky. We didn't get paid last year, but we sold some cows this year. Not many, just some. And so between $1.30 and $1.90. And those were the highest prices that were brought by cows. And then we have all these deductions from that, and we have to pay $1 per head to the Cattlemen's Association. We have to pay for feed at the sale barn. We have to pay for insurance for our cows there. Then we have to, and these are, you don't have choices. You have to pay these things. Then you have to pay for a veterinarian to be there, whether you need it or not. Then you pay for a pen that they put your cows in. Then you pay the commission. By the time you're done, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fees tacked on to selling your cows. It's kind of like that dental filling, and you don't just get pay for one filling. It's it's 3 sides, right? So it's 3 different angles on that tooth. So now there's 3 fees for that same filling, and that's kind of what's happening everywhere we go, John. As I look at what we pay, and like you look at a telephone bill, you have all these added on taxes, as many as 11 or 12 or 13 extra taxes that are added onto a telephone bill. And it's like, how is there any other way that we can take advantage of our customers? That's what's going on. So where would you like to start today, John?
Yeah, it's kind of like going to the bank and asking, do you charge for asking questions? Yes, and that'll be $5.
Well, when I get those, okay, so what we try to do is provide solutions here at USA Prepares. When I get those statements, the statement of fees once a year from the bank. It's a full page of microscopic type of all these fees that they can charge for telephone transfers from one account to another, or over limit, or whatever it is, return check fees. I call them up and I say, I got this, but this doesn't apply to me, does it? Because I'm allergic to these kinds of things. And just thinking about it makes me want to cancel my account, close my account. They go, no, that doesn't apply to you. So you can do that as long as you know the people who are at your bank. So if you just get in a different line, a different teller each time, and they really don't know who you are, you really have no clout. So the idea is make sure that each person that you deal with really knows who you are, and make sure they know who you are. Okay, by saying, yeah, hey, I'm so glad to be in your line. Remember me? And that's what I did. I trained the employees at the bank where we have an account. I trained them to the sound of my voice. I'd say, hi, this is Vin Finelli. Do you recognize my voice? Now, I did that 10 years ago. And I would call them, and I would keep saying that until they said, yeah, I recognize your voice. Great, good. So then I was able to do things that via the telephone that are more difficult to do for most people, just because I trained them to the sound of my voice. And another thing, well, since we're on this line of thinking, I had a miserable training exercise with Verizon over the weekend. I helped someone who had all kinds of difficulties with a new iPhone. And so I got on the internet to try. They couldn't make calls out. This is a person who is, we'll say, homebound. A homebound person could not get out and needed my help. So I called Verizon. Well, I'll tell you what, on the weekend, you cannot get through to Verizon after 9 p.m. The website says they're open till 11. They're not. They close at 9. Then if you try to find a telephone number to contact Verizon when they're closed, it's very difficult on the internet. It's really hidden. And then when you do get through the morass of voice prompt on these automated systems, they finally get you nowhere. Literally get you nowhere. So I worked on it the next day, and I called the Verizon store where this person bought this new phone. And I asked for the manager, and this gal said she was the manager. And I said, well, here's the problem. They said, well, we need the password. And I said, I don't have the password, but here's the problem. Just call this person. You guys can work this out, I'm sure. The person said from Verizon, I'm not going to call him. I said, wait a minute. You're not going to help me? She said, no, I'm not going to help you. She said, this is a Verizon store. And I was talking to the manager. Jasmine is her name. She said she would not help me because I didn't have the password. I said, I don't have the password. It's your customer who has the password. Just give this person a call. She said, no, I won't do it. Finally, I said that she was the most miserable person I've ever talked with on the phone. And she hung up on me. Verizon. So what do you do? Now, if you call and talk to the manager, that was the manager. So how far is that going to go? Not very far. Or you can call and wait online with all these prompts and get to corporate headquarters and complain, and that won't do anything, right? Well, what do you do? Well, the answer is very simple. And the reason I'm telling you this is it applies to all these transactions where you feel trapped. And I figured this out yesterday. I figured it out while I was on my tractor. You dispute the charge. So when your credit card bill comes in, you call your credit card company and you say, I've got this bill from Verizon. I'm not happy with them. I called them. I get stuck in these voice prompts. I can't talk to anybody. I'm disputing the bill because of this. And you have a reason. And make sure it's a good reason, a legitimate reason. So you dispute the bill, and then Verizon has to pay a $35 fee because you disputed this charge. And they will eat that fee unless they can find a reason why you should pay the amount on your bill. And then when the credit card company comes back to you and says, yeah, Verizon said, no, this is the case. You say, no, that's not the case. And here's why it's not the case. Now you get that credit back on your bill. And if you keep doing this, and it's who gives up first loses. So if they give up first, they lose. And always, I've never seen a dispute on a credit card where the customer doesn't get the credit immediately. Now, the customer may have to fight to keep the credit, but they get the credit immediately. And it's whoever gives up first loses. So if you have a problem with Lowe's, if you have a problem with Home Depot, if you have a problem with Best Buy or any of these stores that are miserable to deal with, Verizon, you can dispute if you have a legitimate reason. If your calls don't get completed, if the calls get dropped, and you call them and say the calls get dropped, and they go, geez, I don't know. So dispute it. Dispute that charge, and let's start making these companies pay. Let's make them pay for their incompetence. Let's make them pay for poor service. And you do that by just calling your credit card company. Once you receive the statement, you say, item number 7, Verizon, this bill right here, I tried to work it out. I can't talk to anybody, or they won't help me. I'm not paying it. And they'll say, okay, we'll take that off. We'll take that off your bill for now. And we'll see what Verizon has to say, or Home Depot, or Lowe's, or whomever it may be. But you have to try to work it out with the store or the company first. But if they don't give you satisfaction, then you dispute it. And then you're in control. And that's the plan. So imagine if everyone listening today disputes a charge on his or her credit card account. Imagine that. 10,000 of them, 20,000 people, just all of a sudden, because they figured out that, yes, you can take control. So that's the answer, John. That is the answer going forward.
Well, I don't know if we have enough time. Just a quick update on the drought situation. California actually got a bit better. They dropped about 10 percentage points out of the worst drought category. The top 2 categories dropped about 6%, but everything is in the drought 2, which is severe drought or higher, stayed the same. So the map looks better, but it's still a bad situation. We'll see more about Texas next week. It's the cutoff on these reports is Tuesday, and the Panhandle and West Texas didn't get a lot of the rain that the rest of Texas got. And India has drought affecting 330 million people. Now, just to put some perspective on that, we only have 323 million people in America. So the number of people affected by drought in India is more than our entire population. It's a serious situation.
And John, we talk about the drought. We're talking about grass not growing, food not growing, hygiene problems that leads to disease. People who don't get enough nutrition become ill. It's a spiral down. It's a dangerous spiral down. But I think that's what the other team wants. I think they want us to die. You know, as soon as we're done fixing their roads and bridges and building their cars and all the toys that they want and their boats, then they want us to die. I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com, click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code 3434. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift, Pro Flowers has everything you need to be a gifting expert on Mother's Day. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $19.99, and will include a free glass vase. Hurry! Mother's Day is next week, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. That's proflowers.com, secret code 3434.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Would you like to receive $250 to $1,000 cash per day? Go to richmoneyrich.com. No website, no selling, no explaining. Just take these simple 2 steps and go to richmoneyrich.com. You can be generating cash in the next 24 hours simply using this system. Good news is, it runs on 100% autopilot, and you don't need any experience to get started. It's easy. Get your share of easy riches and go to richmoneyrich.com. That's richmoneyrich.com. Go now. Brought to you by the Conservative Investor. Future returns not indicative of future results.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Class Captain John Reagan's with us, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. We have clicked on the news tab, and if you would like to follow along in class today, you may do the same. Captain John Regan?
In the Financial State of the Union, I didn't write about the pension plans other than the Social Security and Medicare plans that the federal government has. And we are now seeing these pension plans pop all over the place. And the first 2 in the financial section today are about pensions. The Chicago pension, they're paying retired teachers $100,000 a year. When I was making the most as an IT director, I wasn't even close to that. And these pensions are costing taxpayers $1 billion in the People's Republic of Illinois. And it's, especially bad in the Chicago area. And it really affects the whole state because those that retired quite often moved out of the city and to a more rural location. But that's not the big one. The big one hit Teamsters in a number of states, including Texas, Michigan, Wisconsin, Missouri, New York, Minnesota, as one of the largest pension funds, Central States Fund, has over a 250,000 people, and they're cutting benefits. This one couple who used to receive nearly $7,000 are going to see their monthly pension income cut to about $3,000. And they I'm sure they love the unions and the lies they were fed, and now the time's coming to pay the piper. There's the next step is the fund that supposed to be backing these multi-employer pension plans. But like the FDIC, that fund is pretty much bankrupt too, which means that either taxpayers are going to get hit with a lot more taxes to pay these pension benefits, or like we're seeing so far, the people getting the pensions are going to see their pensions cut, in some cases quite severely. Have you seen any others?
Well, I was just thinking about what you're saying. Now, the difference with the teachers, aren't their pension plan, well, they do contribute to part of their pension, right? The teachers do. And I guess the government contributes to part. So if a person contributes to his or her own pension plan and it's not part of the government and it's stolen from them, that's a huge problem, as I see it. It's theft, right? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Well, there's a number of moving parts in this, and the financial environment lately has contributed to a lot of this, because these pension funds are expected to make 7 or 8% a year, and while stocks have been going up because of the tricks that the Fed's been doing, look at the bond side of things, where you've now got trillions of dollars of bonds worldwide that have negative interest rates. So if you're trying to make 8% and a good part of your portfolio is now making negative, that means you got to make more somewhere else. So they're investing in junk bonds and derivatives, and those things aren't doing well either. A lot of the bonds were typically like in the energy area, which now that's gone belly up, and we're seeing those things pop. So it's getting tough for some of these pension funds just to not lose principal, much less make money.
I know a pension fund manager. I've been in the car with him many times. This is many years ago. That guy's an absolute nervous wreck. And I guess maybe it's because he should be. We'll be right back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
How would you like to make 17% on your money in only 90 days? That's right, gold owners made 17% in only 3 months as gold had its best quarterly gain in 30 years. Gold is on the move, and you need to get government-issued legal tender gold coins starting at only $139 each. The U.S. Money Reserve, one of the largest gold distributors in the country, announces the first ever at-cost gold release on this station for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD, or go online at usmoneyreserve.com. Official U.S. government-issued legal tender solid gold coins at cost for only $139 each. Call 1-866-944-GOLD. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book, plus get a free Walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book all about gold. Remember, gold is on the move, up 17%. Call 1-866-944-GOLD.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
It's no secret that pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, molds, and fungus can inflict severe damage in the human body. Fortunately, a new and vastly improved silver solution has been developed. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary broad-spectrum antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal solution that can be used inside the body as well as on the skin. Supernatural Silver is unique and superior to colloidal and ionic silvers, using a patented technology that is highly effective against colds, flus, infections, food poisoning, and yeast, in addition to many other pathogens. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, extremely safe, and is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver could change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code HEALTHY for 20% off. That's supernaturalsilver.com, and like us on Facebook.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Plus, I just heard from our engineer, Justin, that we have a special appearance from one of our instructors. Welcome.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Vincent. How are you doing, guys?
Good morning, Miles.
I'm sorry to rain on your parade this morning, but I have to do something. There's two things that I want to bring into the show. First things first, dear John, we've never met, and I always like listening to your reports. And happy birthday for your birthday on Saturday. And I allowed myself to send you $20 in for your coffee fund that your wife and you can have actually 2 coffees each then. And I encourage everybody who likes listening to John's reports and what he's bringing to the table to take a deep breath, go inside yourself, and just say, okay, I'm going to send John a cup of coffee and his wife a cup of coffee. And I like doing that. I have to admit, I did that last week as well. So I hope there's others that will follow. And I thank you very much for your work that you're doing, that you've done in the past. It's very much appreciated. Thank you very much, John.
Oh, thank you.
No, I thank you. The second thing is I want to give you a progress report on what is happening after what was happening after the show we did on Friday, building the digital village, the virtual village. Since yesterday, there is a template that we're now starting to fill by the end of the week with topics and issues. It looks really, really good. So thank you very much here to Ed Marvini out. Ed, you did a great, great job. And everything is appreciated. Joey, thank you for all your input there. And it's happening, Vincent. So things are starting to manifest here. And we probably will be able to have a public appearance on the virtual village side starting somewhere next week. How do you like them apples?
I love it. So what we're talking about, class, is if you go to usaprepares.com and you click on the Contact tab, Ed from User Site has built this template, and you can let us know what state or what country you're in, and here's some of the categories: energy, food, security, shelter, and water. Those are the initial categories that we have so that we can help educate more people in those categories, and you can share information. So who's been involved in this? Joey from Michigan has been involved. Ed has been involved. Ed in Florida, User Site, our IT manager and creator, and Miles in Europe. So that's what's happening. And when you go to USA Prepares, you'll see it pop up, and it'll ask you for your contact information if you want some alerts. And then if you want to get further involved with us, you may. And so, Miles, tell us a little bit about how you see this working.
Well, what I can tell you for now is that we are creating a platform where we can exchange ourselves with ideas, with information, with tutorials, and with knowledge, or even with helping each other, or creating meetups like you have them in Missouri. So that is our first goal to achieve here. And we probably have to make a phone conference for that during that week, that we see what kind of topics we should add to that. Other than that, we already fixed like the first two projects that we want to work on, because they are pertinent, they're pressing, and this is number one: how to build a battery. Maybe an iron Edison battery, and a project how to build a motor generator to create a generating device where you have your household where you can generate power when the power goes out.
Okay. And so we're looking at making this happen this week, at the end of the week, or next week. Is that what you're saying, Miles?
Yes, that's
okay.
That's probably what it is. I'm sorry, I'm standing outside. It's windy. I'm letting you go. Vincent, may I ask you to put up a coffee cup link for John again? Because if somebody might want to add into that, I think it's going to be much appreciated. And with that, I'll let you go.
Great.
Thank you
I will certainly do that. Miles, thank you so much. Well, you just heard Miles in Europe. You've heard him. He's a senior USA Prepares instructor. And let me share this, John. I don't think we've ever mentioned this, but I get a number of calls about the broadcast and who's on and what they're saying, and the importance level that's given to those instructors. And John Regan is at the top of the list. And people love your research, John Regan. So if what we've done is we've put up a link to John's Coffee Club, and basically if you like what he has to say, he's got a rough patch right now, and if you could just buy him a cup of coffee, it's really not a cup of coffee. It goes to defraying some of the expenses that while he's in this little rough patch, it would help him. So if you want to do that, you can go to thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. I'll place it number one on usaprepares.com, and I've contributed. A number of our other instructors have as well, because, frankly, let's talk about this. John, how many hours a week do you spend preparing for these broadcasts?
Probably more than 50, possibly more than 60.
Okay, and that's a full-time job. Okay, so because he does that, he doesn't have a full-time job other than that. So if you would like to help him maintain his Monday classes and other days of the week, as well as filling in for me when I'm not available, if you want that to continue, it would certainly be nice to show John your appreciation. I have, Miles has, and so have other instructors. And John, we really appreciate what you do here. You've been ringing the alarm, and your information is right up there with You've got the human web bot. I mean, that's really what you do. And your information syncs pretty well and compares very well with the web bot reports. So, class, that's the expertise of Masters in Business Administration plus experience in the military plus other experiences that John brings to the table. Okay, John, what's next?
Well, just to give you an idea, this past week, Saturday afternoon, I hadn't had a chance to file my articles during the week because it was kind of a crazy week. I had 650 articles by Saturday afternoon, and I don't know what I ended up with for the week, but it was more than 700 articles that I'd clipped. By the time I filed those, I ended up with nearly 80 in my show folder. And I think that pretty much cut that into half for what you see in the Post today.
Yeah. And it's difficult. It's difficult to select them because there's so many things that we need to share.
I mean, like I didn't even put the Hanford leak on the links today. It's because there's just so many other things. Let's go down next on the financial list. We've talked about all this heavy equipment, tractors and stuff, backhoes that you can get for pennies on the dollar at auctions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boy, it's worse than that now. There's a shipping company, Golden Port, and I'll just read this one sentence. One of the last shipping companies left on the London Stock Exchange has delisted from the market and sold off 6 of its remaining 8 vessels for $1. I don't know how many millions of dollars. The ships.
You're talking about ships.
Yes. These are the ships that cost about $4,000 a day just in fuel to run these things. I don't know how many millions of dollars they cost. That's not in the article. But that's not pennies on the dollar. That's basically just giving them away.
It is giving them away. John, here's what I've noticed. I've noticed that larger equipment is selling for less as a percentage than smaller equipment. So, for example, if you wanted a large tractor, something that most people would not need because it's just way too big, that would sell for a much better price, much, much lower compared to what it should sell for than a smaller tractor. And the reason, I believe, is that because people would rather have a 40 horsepower tractor than, let's say, a 120 horsepower tractor. Most people can't use a 120 horsepower tractor. So you may get a better deal on a 120 horsepower tractor than you would on a 40 horsepower tractor. That's what I'm saying. But the repair parts, wow. When you go to repair anything, and Joey and I were talking about that before the broadcast started today, the cost of repairs is so high. The cost of parts is so high. And you're looking at about $100 an hour. Even someone who works on a motorcycle or someone who works on a little four-wheeler that you might ride around as a toy, $100 an hour to repair them. Please continue.
And things in the oil patch aren't doing too well either. I have a couple of articles there. One from Schlumberger, the CEO, sees full-scale cash crisis in the oil sector. Halliburton, what we were experiencing today is unsustainable. Both of these companies have reduced about a third of their workforce since 2014, which seems like I've said that was about the point where I figured that the economy went unhooked, and is probably the start of what you see in that chart from Weimar, Germany, where it came unhooked and then started its progression up until it hit that hockey stick part where it went up to its height and then the ultimate crash from there.
I'm looking at a gas price map, John. California, highest price in the country, averaging about $2.61 per gallon. I'm looking at about 40% of the country is between 203 and 215 per gallon. This would be unleaded regular. And then Texas and Missouri and Arkansas, looks like it's around $1.80 to $1.90. The lowest price in Missouri right now is $1.84.9. And John, I've seen just steadily, slowly increasing here in Missouri, because less than a year ago it was about $1.29 at the low. $1.29, and now we're in the 180s. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Bad news, Americans. You're probably stockpiling for a disaster all wrong. When the big one comes, you'll need more than that poisonous, oversalted survival food you now see everywhere. There are 3 vital things that your survival food is missing, and it's the first thing to disappear from grocery stores. Go to superfoodradio.com now to see my story of how I nearly died when I was forced to live on a popular survival food. That's superfoodradio.com, and I'll show you how everything you've been told about survival food is dead wrong. Go to superfoodradio.com now.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
You know, since we're talking about birthdays and John Reagan's birthday, John, great news here. I just posted on the website a countdown. Time left until Obama leaves office, 269 days, 14 hours, 7 minutes, 8 seconds. What a great day that will be. Kyle in Montana, welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen. And John, I was going to wish you a happy birthday too, belated. Did you get the card we sent?
Not yet.
Okay, I would just had a couple things to say, Vince. We also dug down, just like Miles said. We sent you $20, and I've got a card. It should have already been there. I would have thought, but snail mail is different. I don't do the PayPal thing, but people need to realize that when you see somebody in a down situation, if you can't help them when they're lower than you are, and they're in more of a struggle than you are, we need to learn how to give till it hurts. And that's the way I feel about it anyway. And so my wife and I took it out of our meager budget, and we just decided we're just going to suck it up, and $20 is not going to ruin our life. And I just urge people to help John out, because I am also one of those guys that extremely appreciate you being on the air and all that you do with Vince and for Vince. And anyway, that's pretty much all I was going to say. Just one other thing that I was going to bring up that's totally unrelated. I was listening to an economist guy talking yesterday, or Saturday actually it was, and he was saying that the Chinese have backed the yuan with 1 gram of gold, and that was the last nail in the coffin in a medium term, like within the next year or two at the most, he said, for the Federal Reserve note staying the world reserve currency. And I was just wondering if you had any of that in your report today.
It's not in my report today. That's an ongoing situation, as is another report I saw where I think it was Goldman that says that the Japanese yen is going to be worthless in a year. So there's a lot happening in that area. We know that the dollar is on the way out. What China's doing is part of that. What Saudi is doing is part of that. As soon as they decide to start accepting anything besides the dollar, that's it for the petrodollar. And it's going to be interesting because we look at the special drawing rights, the SDRs, and interesting thing is you can pay for things at the post office with SDRs. It's been that way, I don't know how many years now. It's basically a basket of currency. So if you don't like, one turd, you could get a basket of turds, and they're better for some reason. And the inclusion of the yuan is what's going to make that interesting, especially with China and all the gold that hasn't been reported. It's only been their official government holdings that's been reported. And they've been hoarding. India's been getting as much gold and silver as they can get their hands on. And it is in the West, like Canada, got rid of their gold, and we have no idea how much, if any, gold that we really have here in the United States, because we can't even get an audit.
Yep, and I would highly suggest that people haven't bought silver that they do it quickly, because there were some huge factors that are fixing to affect silver. Anyway, I'll hang up and let you guys get on with your program. But
Kyle, I'm going to ask John a question that I think will relate to your line of thinking when we come back. That was Kyle. Do you want to stay for through the break?
No, that's okay, Vince. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Listen in. I'm going to ask John a question that relates to you. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Ely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-959-9582. I used to be so broke, I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-959-9582. 1-800-959-9582.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Regan is with us for both hours today. And Kyle Harris, a USA Prepares instructor, called in during the last part of hour number 1. And here's a question that I'd like to ask John Regan on behalf of Kyle and some of the other instructors, me included. John, when you think about the currencies and the risk associated with holding currencies, the risk associated with having digits and so forth, what about tangibles? Are we better off not having currencies? For example, if we think we need some device for, in my case, it would be for the farm. Would I be better off with the digits if I had them in a bank account, or would I be better off with the tools to continue farming?
The way I put this for everybody is the gold and silver are good for maintaining value, and that's good for that ramp-up time period that you see in the charts from the past, like Weimar Germany. So if you want to put aside enough money to do things like pay for your mortgage or pay for your property taxes, and know that you have that covered for 2 or 3 years with gold or silver, I think that's great. However, once we get to the other side and there's no supply chain, that's when gold and silver aren't going to be worth anything for a while. At that point, it's when you want all those tangibles. And like I brought up before, salt's one of those. That's just, there's other products that are very necessary for life and health that we want to have a supply of. It's important that you have skills as well, being able to raise your own food, having access to water, whether that's through a well or by catching rainwater. And either way, you're probably going to want to filter it because you have no idea what's gotten into the water, even if it's from a well. And the even beyond that is, a third person, a couple, there's just too much to do by yourself. You really need a community, especially if you haven't been doing this for a number of years. There's too much to learn. You need to have people that already have experience with, raising crops and raising animals and knowing especially what to do when things go wrong. Because you can learn a lot in a short period of time about how to do things when things go right. It's kind of like driving a car. If you're driving a car on a straight road with no traffic, it's not too hard. If you're driving a car on ice and fog with a lot of traffic, it's a little bit more challenging. And it takes experience, and unfortunately, sometimes in that experience, you get banged up. The thing is, with what's coming, you can't afford to get banged up because a mistake, once the poop hits the props, becomes deadly. Making that same mistake right now is just costly.
You were talking about mistakes, and I was thinking as you were saying it, over the weekend, I had a flat tire in one of our pieces of farm equipment. No big deal. We've got a compressor there. We've had it for many, many years. And so I just took the valve cap off, unscrewed that little black cap, and the valve was leaking. Now, one little tire valve can shut down the operation of that piece of equipment. One little tire valve. And they're about 10 cents a piece. Literally, I'm talking about inside the valve. Tire valve is this little stem, and you can replace this little valve. It just unscrews if you have one of those valve caps that has the tool attached to the end of it. Well, so one little part like that is a huge problem. And so I went to put air in the other tires, and it wasn't just one. It seems to be that particular vintage, that model tire valve leaks, at a specified age. That's the kind of problems that I can see happening, where we can be shut down by just a little tiny part, a 10-cent part in the supply chain if we can't get them. That's a huge problem. Now, fortunately, I had them. I bought 80 of them. I bought 80 tire valves, a while ago. It was about $20 to replace all the tire valves and stems and caps on all of our equipment here at the farm. And I had to do it. Do I want to do that? No. But I had to do that because I will be out of business for the lack of a tire that holds air. And I had to buy tire plugs because the tires are failing. I was looking at I got one of our lawnmowers working. It's a Cub Cadet Model 102 from 1962. That's our lawnmower. It's over 50 years old. Original tires. The original tires. How much longer they're going to last? I don't know. I might get another year or two out of them. That's it. But can you imagine that? Tires are 50 years old on my lawnmower. The lawnmower's 50 years old. And John, this parts, I keep talking about parts. They're getting harder to get. They're getting more expensive. And they're harder to find, more expensive. And they're failing. It's a problem. It really is. And on the other side, when the collapse gets speeds up even more and the supply chain is all but gone, it's going to be really tough to do anything. One 10-cent tire valve will stop a car. Just one. Will stop a car. And that will clog the roadway. And then you have to get around that, right? If yours still works. I wish I could see a lot of good news ahead of us, John. I just don't see it. I see just more and more and more problems. And I look at what's happening with China, and how almost everything comes from China today? And who did that? That would be the Clintons. The Clintons were really big in making, well, Nixon too. All the presidents since Nixon have embraced China. They've done a great job. They've put us out of business.
In so many ways, look at, would China sell us what we need if we have to go to war with China? That's kind of the situation. Our military uniforms, from what I understand, come from China. Our industries have just been destroyed. Obama's put the nail in the coffin of coal, which is then needed to make steel. Steel was already in bad shape. All of those things you need to produce munitions in order just to survive a war. The lead mines have been shut down. All we have left is what we recycle from batteries. And what that translates to, when you look at it from a military point of view, it means you either have to go nuclear or face defeat. And neither one of those options is very good.
I just looked up the price of car batteries just now. About $111 to $112 for a battery that I might buy here, an automotive battery here at the farm. John, those are the same batteries that used to be $34.95 when I lived in Virginia. Same technology, same plastic case, same size. 4 times the price. And because we don't have the lead mines in this country the way we used to, the only thing that can happen is if we can continue on the same consumption rate, and if the lead acid batteries fail after 3 or 4 years, as they do, the only thing that can happen is the price will go up. It's the only thing that can happen. As the battery prices have been going up. Man.
Before we run out of this segment, I do want to get the topic off of me, so I just want to go in and say thank you for everybody that has sent me a birthday present. It's really helped between that and a wonderful gift we got from somebody at our church. I don't even know who they are. It was anonymous. That should mean that we won't have any problem with our June rent. So we've got basically 2 months to try and get our lives back to normal. Where Becky's got a temp job, and while that doesn't replace the income she did have, it's more than what unemployment would have been. So that's a plus. We thought it was only going to be about a week's worth of assignment, but they fired some people Friday, so we're thinking her assignment's going to go 2 to 3 weeks on that. She's getting interviews. In fact, she has some today to go to. So things are looking promising. And like I say, thanks to those that helped. That's really taken a lot of stress off in what is obviously a stressful situation. And I do appreciate that.
John, when you and I connect in the morning, we've got a standing line. It's something like, is it Monday already, right? That's when you and I talk just before the broadcast. What did you say to me this morning?
This is the last Monday I'm going to do this on in April.
Yeah. Class, I just wanted to have you realize that this is the last Monday he's going to have with us in April. And that's because it is the last Monday. But imagine if he just left the last part of that sentence off. This is the last Monday I'm going to be able to do with you. Imagine that. So thank you for helping Captain John Regan through this rough patch. And if you choose to help him a little bit more, that'd be great, because you just got a reprieve. There's no final fix to this, John, that I've heard yet. You're working on it. You just need a hand up, right?
Yeah, it's been painful for me. My last corporate paycheck was December 31st, 2009. I used to make over $70,000 a year, and I've had no paycheck since. And the likelihood for me of earning anything is not looking good.
Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift, Pro Flowers has everything you need to be a gifting expert on Mother's Day. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $19.99 and will include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is next week and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. That's proflowers.com, secret code 3434.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
When fresh liquid whey is processed into a dry powder, the special proteins that make up the whey lose their original shapes. They fold in on themselves and lose their functional value. One World Whey undergoes a technological enhancement that we believe restores these potent proteins back to their original shapes the body can use.
I chose to try One World Whey first before going to a doctor who would likely only prescribe drugs. To my delight, it worked. After stabbing pain for years, to have it completely gone is a miracle. I'd like to also stress that for me, it took several months of taking One World Whey before I had improvement, and then an entire year for my gut to feel 100% healed. So now I tell my friends, give your body time to make use of the healing power of One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld, WHEY.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
John, just to put an exclamation point on what you're saying, there's a post on the internet. It's the Economic Collapse blog.com. Michael Snyder wrote this yesterday, April 24th, 2016. In 1 out of every 5 American families, nobody has a job. If nobody is working in 1 out of every 5 U.S. families, then how in the world can the unemployment rate be close to 5%, as the Obama administration keeps insisting? The truth, of course, is that the U.S. economy is in far worse condition than we are being told. Okay, that's in this post. That agrees completely, John, with what we've been talking about here for years.
And it's not getting any better. In fact, let's go ahead and pick up the next article, Peabody bankrupt. And I didn't even put up the article about Son Edison declaring bankruptcy. There gets to be so many to choose from nowadays. Peabody is the largest United States coal company. Because of them declaring bankruptcy, the taxpayers may be on the hook now for $1.4 billion in cleanup costs. So in addition to those costs that we may see because of the government side of things, we just spent last hour talking about pension plans having problems. When you see these companies declare bankruptcy, and some of them are going out of business, some are remaining in business at a lower capacity, and even in those, a lot of the debt has been done away with. So who owns that debt? A lot of that is being held by pension funds. So when you see the bond section of the pension funds, bankruptcies hurt there because the value of the bonds has gone down or all the way to nothing in some cases. And then the flip side is when a company declares bankruptcy, the stock value goes down quite a bit. So if these pension funds are holding stock in the company, that means they've lost a lot of value in that stock, quite possibly to less than what they paid for it. So when you read these bankruptcies, it cascades in costs.
When you're talking about Son Edison, that was one of the fastest growing U.S. renewable energy companies, and they had assets of about a little over 20 billion, liabilities of a little over 16 billion as of September 30th. And as you said, their share price was cut in half as a result of the bankruptcy report. So here we have a company in the solar aisle of business, and they're having trouble. And it was one of the fastest growing companies. So you're absolutely right, John.
And it's not good in energy, whether it's oil, coal, or solar. And just to put a bigger picture on this, the next one, look at the business sales. That's the first chart that's in this article. I don't really care that much about the rest of the article, but you can click into that chart. It will bring up a larger one. And you see it went down a little bit back, early this century. And that's where we had the recession around 2001. Things then recovered up until the crisis 2008. And then business sales tanked. And then with QE and everything else, they started going up basically at the same velocity that they were before. You can see the slope on them roughly the same. Then it starts tailing off. And then in 2014, it reached a peak, and now it's got a definite trend downwards. So if total business sales are going down, that pretty much comes to the bottom line. And there's not too many ways, well, I guess there are a few ways they can play with this, but in real life terms, there's not too many ways you can deal with that. You have to cut costs, which ends up translating into the employees, or you buy back shares, in which case your earnings per share looks good, even though you didn't have the earnings.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Did you know a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-900-0684.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs with no hassle. Never have to clean your machine by hand again. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto, your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer, only available by calling 1-800-900-0684. That's 1-800-900-0684.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
This is it. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. With Wall Street suffering its worst start to a trading year in history, now is especially the time to be paying attention to gold. This first ever U.S. legal tender government gold offered at cost for only $139 each is from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call them at 1-866-944-GOLD. Gold is on the move, so don't miss out. For the first time ever on this station, U.S. government gold offered at cost for only $139 each. 1-866-944-GOLD or online at usmoneyreserve.com. Ask for a free 55-page gold buyer's book, plus get a free walking Liberty $50 just for reading this must-have book. Get your free gold book, your free $50, but most importantly, get your gold at cost for only $139 per coin. 1-866-944-GOLD.
So, class, how many phone calls does it take to get satisfaction from these companies like CenturyLink? They have been misbilling us for so long. I think we're on our third or fourth month. Call after call after call we make takes 45 minutes per call. The plan is to see if we give up. Well, how many calls does it take? I don't know, because we haven't finished with them yet. And how many calls does it take to get Troy-Bilt to send us replacement tines for these cheap Chinese tines that are on our Super Bronco. Absolute piece of junk. Troy-Bilt. How many calls a day? I don't know, because I haven't gotten the tines and I haven't finished calling them yet. So it's call after call after call, and each call takes 45 minutes. That's, John, when you talk about what are these companies doing because they're trying to slash costs. Well, I think they're slashing costs by overbilling us. I think they're I think they're recovering or attempting to recover by overcharging us. I think they are trying to recover these costs and these revenue shortfalls by not fulfilling their warranty obligations. Those are two things that I see happening right now. Glass,
and on
is that happening to you?
On the front side of that is they're making cheaper products.
Absolutely. The Troy-Bilt Super Bronco that we've talked about on this broadcast, you go to use it and the handle breaks because the handle is not of sufficient strength to operate this equipment. Ours is bent. And you would think they'd say, "Oh, Mr. Finelli, I'm so sorry. Would it be okay if we send that to you? And how about if we send you a $20 check in order to cover for the cost of having somebody install that? We're so sorry that happens." No, if you look on the internet, these handles are really cheap. It's a Chinese piece of junk, this Troy-Bilt Super Bronco. The tines break in loose soil. It is not the same company it used to be. Troy-Bilt used to be a great company. Not anymore. So that's just one more piece of anecdotal evidence, John. It's frustrating. It's frustrating being a customer today. It really is. These products are painted to look really nice. They've got interesting styling. But underneath that paint and that styling is typically a substandard product. At least that's my opinion.
And let me try and finish up on this chart so we can move on. There's shaded areas there that show recessions. So you've got the one in 2001, you got the one, 2008. And you'll see that once the total business sales, in the case of 2001, starts going down within a few months, they declared a recession. It was after it went down that it was already in a recession this last time. And here we've been in this declining total business sales for almost 2 years. And of course, the economy is great. We're not in a recession. And the reason being, if you remember, nearly a year ago, they revised the way they calculated GDP. And I think if you were not manipulating GDP the way they were, that you'd probably have a pretty high correlation between GDP and total business sales. But since they've redone that calculation to keep the GDP positive, that means we don't have the definition of a recession because you have to have negative GDP growth for 2 quarters in a row. And the rule of thumb I've seen, if you subtract 3% from what they publish, that's closer to the way it used to be. And using that metric, we've been in a recession for some time now. And let me just finish off financial unemployment so we can move on. There's so many other things. I've got an article on the semiconductor industry and how it tells the real story of GDP as a leading indicator. And in employment, Intel, the big chip maker, lays off 12,000 people, which is a big part of their workforce. So it's just more peddling fiction, as the president would say. How about we move down to the health section? There's a couple of things I want to get to there. We now have a study that shows that DNA from GMOs can pass directly into humans. Now, that's that's disturbing too. We've already talked about how there's technology, specifically CRISPR, that they can use to modify your DNA, and not just your DNA. If you're young enough to have kids, it can modify the germ DNA so it ends up in all your descendants as well. And what I'd learned several years ago from Dr. Jerry Tennant here in the Dallas area is that the GMOs also change the DNA in your gut bacteria. And why is that important? Well, if you remember, the first bit of GMOs that came out were Roundup resistant, so that you could spray the crops heavily with Roundup and not kill them. Well, the second round of GMOs that came out had the Roundup built into the crops so that you didn't have to apply so much Roundup. Well, that DNA that creates the Roundup in the plants ends up contaminating the DNA in your gut, so that now your gut bacteria is producing Roundup. Isn't that great? And on top of that, this is a CRISPR-related article. They've got genetically modified mushrooms, and because it's not considered, for some reason, modifying the genetics, they're bypassing the USDA regulations, and you'll never know what you're eating's been modified.
John, as far as I know, these mushrooms are identical looking to the non-modified mushrooms, right?
That's right.
So you go to a restaurant, and the restaurant says, so how does it taste? Well, lately, John, I try to avoid going to restaurants. I really do. Try to avoid all of them. And I got to tell you, I don't feel right if I eat food at a restaurant lately. My stomach just doesn't feel right. But I don't have those problems when I'm home. So either it's the oils, the fats, the GMO, whatever it is, it doesn't work well for me. So I avoid it. And I wonder how many other people are finding the same thing. So if you are, make note of it and talk to your family about that. But it's getting tougher. It's getting tougher. And so over the weekend, John, we planted our blueberries. We built a raised bed garden for blueberries. Built a raised bed garden for strawberries. We have a total of 4 raised beds now, right now. And we used pallets and pallets of concrete blocks we bought, over the years at pennies on the dollar, leftovers. So I suggested, class, if you want to plant some fruit trees, get it done. If you want to plant your garden, get it done right now. Back to you, John.
It's really important that you know where your food comes from. Ideally, raise what you can yourself, but to understand, where it comes from. And when you go to the grocery store, you have no idea what they've done to it. And unfortunately, the grocery store is the only option I have right now. But moving on to the bigger picture, I found a disturbing article, and I've entitled the link UNESCO Anti-Semite. UNESCO, which is UN, decided to declare the Temple Mount in Jerusalem as an exclusive Muslim holy place. And this article includes a link to the adopted resolution, so you can check and see that the background on this. It's not just a bit of made-up news on the web. And you wonder, will that incite some problems in the Middle East now that we don't have enough to take care of there? And the one behind it, I know a number of you tune into the Suspicious Observers channel on YouTube. Has a great, typically 5 or 6 minute update every morning on the solar weather and how that affects Earth. And he put out 20-minute video a few days ago, April 20th, and I've got the link for that video there. The number one risk to Earth, and we have talked about what CMEs can do to our grid. And what's disturbing about what we're seeing is the Earth's magnetism has been going down for a number of years, which is not out of the ordinary. It happens before we have a magnetic pole shift. That doesn't necessarily mean the physical pole shift, but the magnetic poles move around. And with that weakened magnetic field, which serves as our shield, it turns out that we might not need an X10 or X20 to really cause a lot of havoc on Earth. As our shields go down, it can be a much milder storm, one that our shields would normally protect us from. But, and the other side of that too is those types of storms happen a whole lot more often than those extreme X-class storms.
John, just something as simple as just one item failing, traffic lights. What would happen if these solar storms just affected one thing, traffic lights, and they stopped working? Can you imagine the chaos of just that? Just that. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just your business at risk. You can lose everything: your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-941-5257. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-941-5257. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-941-5257. That's 1-800-941-5257.
A good stove is at the top of the list for any serious survivalist. That's why you have to see the full range at emberlit.com. Simple, elegant, but extraordinarily efficient. Available in titanium or stainless steel, the Emberlit line of stoves are ultralight, pack flat, and work great. Fueled only by sticks and debris. From emergency situations to long-term survival, Emberlit stoves are up to the task. Emberlit, the most convenient, easy-to-carry wood stoves on the planet. See them all at emberlit.com.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and add-ons to complete your gift, Pro Flowers has everything you need to be a gifting expert on Mother's Day. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days for $19.99, and will include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is next week, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3434. That's proflowers.com, secret code 3434.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Class, if your doctor wants you to have a stress test, you can avoid all that. Just call Troy-Bilt. Call Troy-Bilt, and I waited the last during the entire break to talk to someone, and all I did was get through the prompts on the automated response system, and got to talk to no one. But I was on hold. That's what Troy-Bilt is like, and that's just a typical example of what's wrong with the United States of America. John, please continue.
Let me skip an article, go to shaking up the supply chain. And this gets into the problem with the just-in-time supply chain that we have. There's typically enough on there to allow for short-term disruptions of maybe a week or two because, things do happen. Whether it's a flood or a strike or whatever. But when you get something more serious, and the southern island of Japan has had something more serious with a swarm of quakes, including, I don't remember if it's 2 or 3 significant quakes. One of the key suppliers for Toyota is down there. And since they can't get anything from that supplier, Toyota is shutting down 26 assembly lines because of that. Now, just imagine the grid goes down, whether it's for the country or worldwide. The supply chain starts collapsing immediately. And any one piece can stop the next one.
John, I've got some anecdotal evidence about that. I met this man in Virginia back in the 90s, and he had a farm, and he had this rundown old building on his farm, and he was making lamp holders for the auto industry. And when I say lamp holders, I'm talking about these holders that you insert your light bulbs in. So, for example, it could be a tail light holder, it could be a dome light holder, but you would put the bulb in there, and this lamp holder would secure that bulb and had a couple wires on it. And this man made these in his factory, which is in an old rundown building on a farm in rural Virginia. And he could make them, but the automotive industry would not accept them in bulk. He had to deliver them in a just-in-time inventory fashion. And sometimes he would have to hire an airplane to fly to Detroit with, a couple boxes of these lamp holders because they wouldn't let him ship them early. So we have a just-in-time inventory system. I know the guy who had that factory, and I fully understand what you're saying. So Toyota doesn't make everything that goes in a Toyota. And they are at the mercy of these suppliers. So if it takes 1,000 parts to make a vehicle and you have 999, you can't ship those vehicles. It's as simple as that. This is a huge problem, John.
Would you like breaks with that?
That's what I'm talking about. It could be as simple as not having a delivery of let's say you're in the electronics business and you don't have the boxes, the finished product boxes, or the packing material for the finished product, or the instruction manual, or the power cord. It could be as simple as that. We'll ship you that power cord later. Doesn't work too well. And that's how the world is running right now. Just look at your stores and look at the empty shelves. You'll see the evidence of what we've been talking about. It's right there in front of you. Supermarkets and other stores. They don't have everything that they used to have.
The article before that I've entitled The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Japan's next generation of farmers could be robots. Same thing here in the United States. We've also talked about doctor shortages. Think artificial intelligence and robots, not people.
Yeah, Cox Hospital in Springfield, Missouri, they're looking for a dermatologist. They don't have one. They don't have a dermatologist in the entire hospital system at Cox in Springfield, Missouri. They're thinking it might take a year or two to get one. They're looking for one right now. You're absolutely right, John. John Regan, thanks so much for being with us, sharing your research. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-945-9289. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-945-9289. That's 1-800-945-9289.